I'm posting a link to the,
Sorry.
there we go. It sounds like Siri has let me know that the recording has begun. I'm posting a link in the chat. It's the same thing that's on my slides, but it'll prompt you to make a copy of my slides so that you can have it for your own resource if you want to refer to it later on down the line. It's more personal that way, I guess, and you can keep it as long as you like or as short as you like. It's up to you, but at least you have your own copy now. So I'll let everybody open that up. Let me know if you have any issues with it, by the way, if it doesn't allow you to make a copy or anything like that. So I'll give you 1 minute to get that set up and loaded. After you load it, you can either follow along on that, or I'd recommend actually just following along with the presentation on Zoom. So just enjoy the show. And we'll be practicing with our own Google Forms at the end. So, all right, I'll take your silence as compliance. Sounds like everything is working. How are you all doing? My name is Mr. Noah Myers. I am a teacher at James Campbell High School. I teach computer science, but I've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years now. Prior to that, I was teaching English. And so I've used Google Forms in many different arenas, if you will, of teaching. So it's always been a really valuable resource for a few different avenues, I guess. So today, I will hope that all my students, AKA y'all, will learn about different ways to use Google Forms. And I want you guys to be able to make your own Google Form to improve your own pedagogy. So a quick questionnaire. Here's a link in the slides. I'm tripping over my tongue. I'll paste it in the chat as well. Before we begin, would you mind completing this quick Google form? Should take you about 90 seconds to 2 minutes, potentially, maybe less. We're going to be using this as our demonstration piece later on as well. So please just take a minute or two. I finished it in record timing. All right, give me a thumbs up if you guys are done with the quick survey. It's a travel survey. Once everybody has given me a thumbs up, we can continue with the presentation. Whilst I take a quick coffee break. Thank you, Jessica, for the thumbs up. Right on, Gina and Shannon. Thank you very much. Leave your thumbs up so I know that you guys are done, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you, Elle.
I think the thumbs up actually goes away after a
It
little
does? Ah, what a shame. All right, I'll take that as a sign for us to move on. If anybody would like to take more time, let me know in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's do this. All right, so that questionnaire, that survey was an example of what you guys can do um, with the basic features of Google Forms. So today, I love me some memes. Sorry. Um, I would like to overview first. And in order to do that, we have to ask good questions and learn how to do so. So in Google Forms, you can add in different types of questions. As you guys might have seen, um, you can have multiple choice. You can also attach pictures to these multiple choices by adding an image right here in the toolbars. You can have multiple sections. The first section will send you out to different sections designated for each of these 3 options in the first question. So one section is for Tahiti, one section is for Japan, and one section is for France. For Tahiti, it more or less asks you the same questions in each section, but in a different way. You can add videos. It is another type of thing that you can add into your Google form using the add video function right here on the right hand side. And you can also do, again, multiple choice. This one right here is called the checkboxes, meaning that you can select one or more, or you can select none, if you so please. You can also add in drop down, which is, it doesn't provide any answers right off the bat, but once you click the question, it'll offer the different answers that you are providing. So Tahitian, English, French, and Pidgin. I selected Pidgin because I grew up in Hawaii. What days of the week? This is what's known as a multiple choice grid. So similar to another multiple choice answer, you have a bunch of different options, and the columns are the things that they can select yes, no, or maybe. There's many different ways you could probably use this one. This is one of their newer features. It's a little bit more complicated to use, but it asks basically 7 questions or 8 questions in one. You can also do a multiple choice checkbox grid, which would allow them to pick and choose any combination of answers that they want, okay? And here is another way that you can phrase a question on a linear scale from 1 to 10, 1 being kind of beautiful, 10 being super beautiful. Those are pretty much the main ways to ask questions in here. As you see, we have different sections. So one way to create a section is right here, adding a section. So as you see, it's kind of like an equals bar, but if you look really closely, there's little curves right here in between the 2 different in between the 2 rectangles. So this signifies that you want to add another section. And again, similar questions for each one to show you can ask the same thing in multiple different sections. So it's just one way to use it. All right, before I continue on, do you guys have any questions about anything I have shown or demonstrated so far? All right, I'll take your silence as compliance. That's been one of my lines this year. I already went over how to add sections and the different types of questions. I'll be going back and forth between the presentation slides as well as demonstrations. Again, this is more of a resource for you later on down the line, but if you have any questions about it, we can always go back and check out a specific slide later on. So the important thing is, hey, how do I get my feedback? I've asked all this stuff, right? So in your Google form that you've created, once you send it out, you'll see 2 different sections, questions and responses. I have 5 responses now. So I've gotten responses from 5 different people. Here's their emails. You don't have to ask for emails. That's up to you. You can see it in a pie chart like this if it's a multiple choice. A short answer response, that's what this one was. I got it 100% correct because there was only one person. And then here's a representation. You have to scroll side to side to get this one. And then here's what a linear looks like. Obviously, if there's more than one person, they're going to do a couple of different things will pop up here, hopefully. And then another short answer for Japan, somewhat similar. And then we had a couple answers for French, or France, excuse me. Ooh, nice answers, guys. 4 responses for France, cool. Now you can see a little bit of variety in the responses. So this is one way it's presented. You can also do it by question, and you can select your questions here that you guys have. And for this particular question, number 1 of 19, I had 4 people select France, and 1 person select Tahiti, that was me, and then 1 person select Japan. You can also look at individuals. So here's me, this is my email address, and these are the answers that I provided. So this is a good way to see what one student or one person selected for your survey. And that's how the basic way to get your responses. You can also create a spreadsheet of your different responses. Let's see what that looks like. I want to create a new spreadsheet, cool. And it automatically generates a Google Sheet with all of the answers, or all of people's selected answers. It's still filling it in. But this is one way you can save your results from every single form too. And if you want to get rid of all responses, you delete this right here. There's a few options here as well. You can get email notifications for any new responses. Say you put out a survey and you want to know when people have responded so that you can do something about it. You can select where your response destination goes. And again, just probably use the same spreadsheet right there. You can also select an existing spreadsheet, and you'd have to select it within your Google Drive right there. But we have one already created for us, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, any questions about looking at the survey results before I move on? Okay, cool. Right on. You can always print out the results too. That's another way of doing it. And this yields quite a document, as you'll see in a second. "54 pages is more than I want," which is why I usually go for the Google Sheet version, because what it does is it prints out everybody's individual response. This is a little bit more than I was hoping for. So I generally don't like to do the printout. I'd rather do the summary. And another way you can do that, rather than printing all responses, is just to press the Control P for this one website or this page, and Google knows what you're trying to do, so it creates a print-friendly version of your summary of results. And if you try to print this, cool, it's just your general results of this one page. Pretty sleek. So that's a little bit about the question types and the responses. Here's our results again. Let's go back to the presentation. What's funny is I made this meme a couple of days before the current really famous one of Bernie with his hands crossed and mittens and whatnot. I wish I had waited. That thing was a classic. All right. So here's a few of the tools in the top. So when you're designing your questions, you have customized theme. You can upload your own image, or you can use one that they provide for you. So either themes of stuff that's already present. I like the guitar one because I'm a guitar player. You can upload your own, choose it from your photos. There's a slew of options right here. You can choose the theme color. I like this one right here. You can choose orange, up to you, whatever floats your boat. And depending on whatever color you choose here, it'll actually change the colors down here because it automatically categorizes them in the same theme. Google's pretty smart. You can choose the font style, decorative, formal, playful, it's up to you. So that's the theme options. When you're done with your form, you can always preview it and see what your students or whoever you're sending it off to will see. Okay, looks pretty cool. Thank you for the preview. And here's where it gets a little trickier, settings. So you have a lot of control actually of what happens during and after your Google form is delivered. Um, you can collect response receipts, and this lets you know that they have finished the survey. So if you don't get one of these and your student says, Mister, I haven't finished or I finished it already, I turned it in. You say, well, I didn't get no response receipt from you. So then you know, oh, they're probably not telling you the truth. It's one way to just double check them. You can limit them to one response, and I often do this, especially if I'm doing a quiz. You can allow them to edit after submit, depending on the purpose of your Google form, and you can allow them to see summary charts and text responses. So I let you guys see this because I wanted you to experience it from their end. I didn't want you to edit your answers because I trusted that you guys were putting all your effort into it the first time around, right? You can change the presentation. So you can show a progress bar. I'm sure you guys noticed that. If it's a quiz and you don't want it to all be in the same order, you can shuffle the question order, which is really helpful for students who think they're going to peek over to their friend's computer and say, oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? So they're not going to be on the same question as you if you can avoid it. You can allow them to show link to submit another response if they'd like to do it again. Confirmation message is pretty cool, as you guys saw at the end of it. And every teacher's favorite thing for Google Forms, automatically graded quizzes. All right, before I move on to quizzes, do you guys have any questions for me? All right, there's one thing I meant to mention before we move on to quizzes. How to share a Google form. So, as you might have noticed in the beginning, I clicked the send right here. You can either send it as an email, putting in the different email addresses of your desired recipients. You can send it as a link. One thing I like to do is shorten the link, so Google will automatically give you a shorter URL when you're sending it out to people. As you notice, I did that for you guys in the chat channel. Or you can embed it on a website that you've designed. So if you have a Google site and you want to put this survey in it, you copy this embed link and include it in your Google site. Pretty handy. There's other ways to do it, but this is just one option for you. I like to send it mostly as a link, just because I just copy it and I paste it um, wherever I want to post up the survey or quiz. But that's how you would send it out. Before I talk about quizzes, I'll mention this as well. You can undo things, you can redo, similar to Google Forms, Google Sheets, anywhere on there. You can move it to the trash if you don't like it. You can get a pre-filled link. You can print, add collaborators. So say you want to collaborate with people on this form. You've got a team of people that are designing a new quiz for your English course, right? Just be careful who you add as collaborators because they can then go and edit the quiz questions, delete things, and so on and so forth. So just be careful who you give editing privileges to. Don't worry about script editor. Add-ons are kind of cool, but we're not going to go into that today because that's a bit more advanced, but it's something to explore if you're interested in it. And you can even mess with preferences, and we already talked about this. Oh, collect email addresses, make questions required, so on and so forth, and quiz point value. Okay, I think we're ready for quizzes. So, before I move on, I wanted to show you the temperature check form. So, one thing that I use this for a lot this year, being that we're all in distance learning, I do my temperature checks with this. My students have been really responsive to it because it's random, or it's not random, it's anonymous. They don't have to see it. I'm not sharing my screen. Um, it's not embedded within Google Meets or anything like that. And they've been pretty honest with their answers, and it's really been beneficial. So if you guys want your own temperature check, you can either copy this one or use it. I believe I can share the file with you. I'd have to go in and share it right here. I believe if I do this, and then I put, you should be able to make a copy of this if you want to use it on your own. Let me know if it doesn't work for you, but I'll continue talking. So, okay. Give me 1 second. All right. Does it prompt you to make a copy of your own for this one? Just double checking. Let me double check this. I think I gave you the wrong one. Oh, I think I gave you the wrong link. Here, let me give you this one. Try that one out, the most recent one I pasted. If somebody's able to do that, can you give me a thumbs up, please? Right on, Gina. Awesome. So feel free to use this. You can edit it, change the questions around to your own purposes, but it's something that I found really useful with my students this year. It's hard to get an honest answer out of them online, even more so than in person. So this is just one way that I'm able to really get an insight. All right. Let's move on, shall we? So let's make use of this quiz template. So if you guys wanted to make something a quiz, this is only one answer. On the end of your settings, you can see this quizzes tab. You toggle this on and off, and once you toggle it on, you're going to release the grade to the student either immediately or later on, but it requires email collection, okay? You will see the results of the quiz afterwards, just like how you saw the results of the survey for any other survey too. They can see their missed questions, correct answers, and point values. It's up to you what you release to them. So I'm going to save this, and now you get to choose the right answer. And here's how you do that. You see this bottom left, there's an answer key right here. You can go and choose the correct answer. If it is a different type of questions and there's more than one answer, correct answer, you can also select that too, but that would be more for like checkboxes or something like that. You can even add answer feedback. So if they get this one incorrect and you're saying not quite there or whatever your feedback would be for the individual answer, that would be fine. And you can change the values as well. Some questions will be worth more than others, like any other quiz, right? So this is a really handy way to get a quiz that's automatically graded for you, but it will not grade short answers. Just letting you know, it might suggest something there, but you still have to grade your own short answers or long answers. However, if it's multiple choice, it's perfect. It works great every single time. Do you guys have any questions about quizzes before I move on? All right, cool. So it gives answer suggestions when you're making your own quiz. This is kind of like a little shortcut. It's not always correct. So if we were to add something to temperature check, I'm going to create a new question. Say, do you like spaghetti? It's going to say, okay, I want this to be a multiple choice. And here's your suggestions. Add all? Yes, no, maybe. Cool. Or what's the capital of France? Let's see what happens. Paris. Hey, Google's pretty smart, right? So it can already help you out with some suggested answers and things like that. Pretty helpful. Google's pretty smart. Already talked about auto-completed answers. So talked about answer keys. And that's pretty much it that I really wanted to show you guys today. So now that you know how to create a Google form, you know how to make questions with different types of media and different types of questions, and you know how to make a quiz, and you also know how to check the feedback and the results of your Google form, I would like you guys to give it a shot. We got about 15 minutes left in this presentation. So on your own or in teams, however you guys would like to do it, try to make your own Google form. And you can make a quiz, you can make a whatevers. Ah, yes, math is hard. What I've found is that you might have to copy and paste pictures as part of potential answers. Or there's different ways. What's that one math website resource? This one's pretty good. You have to buy it. Never mind. I think it was called Mathy or something like that. But you can copy and paste things into here so that, and it'll borrow the formatting of those websites too. Yeah, this is one. Nope, that's not. That was way off. Sorry, I'm not a math teacher. This isn't like. Here. So this one's pretty good. So you can create your math equations in here, and you should be able to copy and paste them into your form as either the question or the answer, right? Square root of 16. How about that? Oh, no, no. I didn't want to do that. Hmm. Yeah, sorry, I'm not like super well versed in mathematical programs online. I teach computer science and I taught English before this. So if you have like an online resource to create math equations, then that would probably be the best way to provide answers. Otherwise, you might have to like shorthand it or something like that. Um, like rather than typing the symbols for square root of 16, you can do square root of 16. And they should be able to understand that as far as an option, right? And you can also look for division symbol and copy and paste that into there. Math operators. A whole bunch of gibberish that I don't quite understand. But yeah, that's one way that you can get stuff and just copy and paste it into your form. Oh, really? That's junk. See, that one worked. You can always put parentheses around it to make sure that they follow the mathematical order of operations. Square root of 930 is equal. I have no idea. But yeah, that's one way to do it, is just to find a symbol on here and then copy and paste it in. I think it even does superscript and subscript too. Yeah, see, it even did the superscript for the superscript 5. So that's the kind of best workaround I can do for the math people. Good question though. All right, so give it a shot. I'll ask you guys to share out your examples at 1:40 because that way we can see a couple of examples before class is over. Well, presentation is over. So give it a shot. Let me know if you guys have any questions. On your mark, get set, go. There you go. There's always like combinations of keys that'll yield mathematical symbols too. So on a Mac, if you want the division symbol, it's Option and then backslash. Pretty cool. Yeah. This is for PC. This one works pretty good, but it doesn't work for Mac. Oh, here we go. This one's awesome. I'll share this with you. It's a great resource. Infinity. That's pretty cool. Not bad. I'm going to save this on my desktop. All right, people, how are we doing? You guys make your own Google Forms yet? If you're comfortable sharing, I'd like to complete one or two. I'll look it up for you. I think this is the one for PC. That's like the X-Men symbol. Sorry, I'm a nerd. Oh, cool. Unicode table, too. So this is another way. You can copy and paste stuff in. All right, guys, we really only have a few minutes left. If somebody's feeling brave, I'd love to try one of your Google Forms. Otherwise, we can just hang out for a few more minutes and I can answer any questions that you guys have. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff you can find on the internet. A lot of times if I can't find the symbol that I'm trying to type out, I'll just Google it, copy it, and paste it. Doesn't always work, but a little searching and you can find some stuff. Were you able to create a Google form, Lynn? Or at least start one? All right. Well, I guess if nobody else has any further questions, or if you guys, yeah, the short answers can be problematic, especially if you're doing a quiz, because it won't really grade it for you. But just think short answers provide less space for them to provide an answer than a long answer, which is like if you want to put in an essay or a few paragraphs, the short answer is only a couple of lines. May I ask what your issue was with short answers? If not, no worries. All right, guys, that's pretty much. Ah, that's interesting. All right, guys. Well, I guess we're pretty much out of time now. I hope that you learned something today and can now use Google Forms to improve your pedagogy, simplify your life, reach your students. Um, it's been my honor to be your presenter. And like I said, I hope you got something out of this and that you find some value in it. Thank you again for your time and for allowing me to speak to you for a while. Thank you.
All right, great. We want to thank Noah. Thank you for sharing your Google Form knowledge. I know there's a lot you can do with it. Yeah, so I'm sure everyone appreciates it. And thank you everyone for participating. You'll get a link for the slide and session evaluation in your email. So just once again, thanks again, Noah. And everybody have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.